Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Janelle, a sister wife, shares the most painful thing that narcissistic Kody did to purposefully harm her. Janelle Brown is taking full advantage of the tell-all and is, in fact, being completely honest as she should be. The diva is not holding back this time and is shooting Kody in the face. She even referred to her former spouse as a narcissist. Janelle also revealed his pattern of love bombing and his deliberate harm to each of his marriages. Even Sukanya was taken aback by what was happening, and she undoubtedly added spice to the tell-all with her revelations. When Janelle was in her 20s, she wed Kody. She had previously been briefly married to another man, thus he was her second husband. Janelle was comfortable with the polygamous relationship, and she and Kody have 6 children together. But Kody changed after Robyn arrived, and even Janelle struggled to fit in with her patriarchal husband. She ultimately made the decision to leave him in 2022 in order to begin concentrating on her profession and children. Sister wives, Janelle is completely dislikeful of Kody. Sukanya inquired at the tell-all if Janelle would wish to maintain her friendship with Kody and Robyn. The diva made it clear that she does not love or have a close bond with Robyn and Kody. She would prefer not to have them. Janelle went on to say that she no longer likes them and doesn't want to know them or stay in touch with them. She also mentioned that if necessary, she can have a cursory conversation with them. Later, Janelle clarified that while she wanted to avoid Robyn, she could still put up with Kody and be friends with him. Sister Wives, Kody is exposed by Janelle. The tell of Sister Wives Season 19, it was all really spicy. Janelle disclosed that Kody has a pattern of love bombing during her chat with Sukanya Krishnan. She clarified that Kody had a love bombing cycle and was a narcissist. He had a tendency to do things that were destructive or hurtful to his wife. After resolving those problems and returning, he would then love bomb them. This was his cycle of repetition. If Janelle referred to Kody as a narcissist, Sukanya inquired. The diva explained in her response that the public will have to make that determination as she is not competent to diagnose him. She explained that although she has studied enough popular culture to be able to relate to the features, she is not a doctor. She believes that Kody embodies many of the traits of a narcissist. He would deliberately choose subjects to harm his wives, Janelle continued. Kody somehow believed he had a right to more, and it's amazing how he reached such conclusions. He assaulted each of his wives where they were most proud or treasured, or where they were most sore. Kody would often criticize Janelle's financial situation. He would continue to utter falsehoods, knowing that Janelle would be impacted. She never had all the financial strings, despite his constant lies to the contrary. Knowing that Janelle was extremely financially savvy and had a significant interest in those areas, Kody deliberately spread the falsehoods. Janelle was the second wife to marry Kody, joining the Brown family after Mary. A pragmatic and introverted woman, Janelle always brought a sense of balance and calm to the often chaotic dynamics between the wives. Where Mary was emotional and Christine was openly expressive, Janelle stayed cool-headed and solution-oriented. She worked hard, often full-time, to support the family's financial foundation. Her role was less about child-rearing, though she raised 6 children with Kody, and more about structure, stability, and long-term planning. In earlier seasons, Janelle often brushed off emotional turmoil and internal conflict in favor of protecting the family's collective interests. But fans began to notice her growing dissatisfaction, especially after Robyn joined the family in 2010. While Janelle initially welcomed her, she quickly became disillusioned by how Kody prioritized Robyn's needs and desires over those of his other wives. Janelle started to realize that Kody's vision of polygamy was no longer mutual, fair, or spiritually rooted. It was hierarchical and hurtful. The tell-all revelation, Janelle breaks her silence. In Season 19's explosive tell-all, hosted by Sukanya Krishnan, Janelle finally dropped the emotional bombshell fans had been waiting for. After years of quietly enduring Kody's hurtful behavior, she spoke her truth, and she didn't hold back. When Sukanya asked whether Janelle would be open to remaining friends with Kody and Robyn, her answer was brutally honest: I don't like them. I don't want to know them. She made it clear that while she could speak to Kody if necessary, she had no interest in rebuilding any sort of bond with Robyn. Her tone was calm but resolute, reflecting years of suppressed frustration finally being released. Then came the most shocking part of the conversation, Janelle's accusation that Kody was a narcissist who engaged in a manipulative cycle of love bombing. Narcissistic abuse, what Janelle described. Love bombing is a common manipulation tactic used by narcissists. It involves overwhelming someone with affection, compliments, and attention in order to gain control, only to later withdraw that affection as a form of punishment or emotional abuse. Janelle described Kody as repeatedly cycling through phases where he would tear his wives down emotionally, then try to fix things by temporarily returning to their lives with renewed affection. This toxic pattern left her and the other wives disoriented, insecure, and constantly questioning their worth. Janelle explained that Kody would identify the most sensitive or proud aspects of each wife and attack them. For her, that meant finances. Janelle was financially savvy, always working, budgeting, and saving to ensure her family had security. Yet Kody turned this strength into a weakness by spreading false narratives about her controlling the family's money. He would lie, suggesting that Janelle held the financial reins unfairly, when, in truth, she was merely managing resources responsibly while he splurged elsewhere. What makes this revelation so painful is the intentionality behind it. According to Janelle, Kody knew how important financial competence was to her, and he weaponized it to hurt her where it would sting the most. I'm not a psychiatrist, but... When Sukanya asked if she was actually labeling Kody a narcissist, Janelle was careful in her phrasing. I'm not a psychiatrist, she admitted, but I've read enough to see the similarities. She emphasized that viewers could make their own judgments, but it was clear she believed Kody displayed many narcissistic traits: lack of empathy, manipulative behavior, gaslighting, emotional detachment, and a grandiose sense of entitlement. Her candid statement hit home for fans who had long suspected similar dynamics. Over the seasons, Kody's increasing favoritism toward Robyn, his dismissive attitude toward Meri and Christine, and his unwillingness to acknowledge the emotional needs of his other wives painted a disturbing portrait of a man whose ego seemed to overshadow his responsibilities as a husband and father. The most hurtful thing: financial manipulation and public shaming. Janelle's most damning accusation wasn't about infidelity or even emotional withdrawal, it was about deliberate financial sabotage. She revealed that Kody intentionally spread false information about her finances, knowing it would discredit her and wound her deeply. She explained how he'd twist the narrative to make it seem like she was hoarding control, when in fact she was managing the chaos he often created. He used these lies not only to hurt her but to justify his own absence and favoritism. Janelle pointed out that these fabrications damaged her credibility not just within the family but also among viewers. For someone who took great pride in her financial independence and work ethic, this was the ultimate betrayal. A pattern of destruction: how Kody alienated his wives. Janelle's revelations reflect a broader pattern that Christine and Meri also endured. Christine left in 2021 after years of feeling neglected and unappreciated. Meri was emotionally abandoned long before their spiritual marriage officially ended. Now, Janelle is calling attention to the psychological and emotional tactics Kody used to manipulate and control his wives. One glaring example of Kody's destructive behavior was how he would take sides, and it was almost always Robyn's. Even during disputes where Robyn was in the wrong, Kody would defend her fiercely while throwing his other wives under the bus. This blatant favoritism caused irreparable fractures in the family's structure. Kody didn't just fall out of love with his wives, he systematically discredited and alienated them. Janelle's experience is a tragic illustration of how emotional abuse can persist under the guise of religious or spiritual leadership. A new chapter: Janelle's independence. Since leaving Kody, Janelle has embarked on a journey of self-discovery. She's launched her own wellness brand, focused on fitness, health, and financial literacy. She spends time with her children, especially Maddie and Savannah, and often posts about her outdoor adventures and detox programs. She's finally living for herself. One of the most empowering things Janelle has done post-split is reclaim her narrative. In interviews and social media posts, she has openly discussed the challenges of leaving a decades-long relationship and the fears that come with it. But she also talks about the freedom, clarity, and empowerment that followed. By speaking her truth, Janelle has given other women permission to leave toxic relationships and prioritize their well-being. Fans react, Team Janelle. The response from fans to Janelle's tell-all segment has been overwhelmingly supportive. Social media is filled with hashtags like #TeamJanelle and #FreeFromKody. Viewers who once saw her as the quiet wife now praise her for her strength, grace, and clarity. Many fans also commented on how visibly happier and healthier Janelle looks since the separation. Her glow-up isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual. She radiates the peace that comes from finally escaping a toxic environment. The end of the polygamous dream? With Christine, Mary, and Janelle all out of the picture, Kody's once grand vision of a plural family has disintegrated. Only Robyn remains, and even she doesn't appear to be entirely at peace. Some fans speculate that Kody's isolation is the result of his own narcissistic downfall, that his need for control ultimately pushed everyone away. Janelle's story may mark the definitive end of the sister-wives experiment as it was originally conceived. But more importantly, it marks the beginning of a new era, one where women like Janelle no longer sacrifice their identity for a man who doesn't value them. Conclusion: Janelle's courage is the real story. Janelle Brown's willingness to publicly confront the emotional manipulation and abuse she endured at the hands of Kody Brown is not just a headline, it's a moment of profound courage. In calling out the love bombing, the narcissistic traits, and the intentional efforts to hurt her through financial gaslighting, Janelle has shifted the narrative of sister wives forever. She is no longer just the practical wife or the quiet backbone of the Brown family, she is a woman who found her voice, spoke her truth, and took her power back. And for viewers everywhere, especially those who have endured similar emotional patterns, Janelle's story is a beacon of strength, resilience, and self-worth. As the dust settles on Coyote Pass and the Brown family's fractured legacy, one thing is clear: Janelle Brown has not only survived, she's thriving. And that's the real victory. Sister wives Christine Brown talks about her sexual life with her ex-husband Kody. More information on Christine Brown's sexual history with her ex-husband, Kody Brown, was not particularly necessary. But now that we have this information, it is our responsibility to share it with you. As fans of the Sister Wives universe, we can all laugh together. Recall that Christine was the first female cast member to quit the plural marriage on the venerable TLC program. Everything has fallen apart after that incident in 2021. Robyn Brown is the only wife Kody has left. For a time, the writing was on the wall for Christine, but now nothing is the same. Something was lacking from Christine and Kody Brown's sexual lives. Christine thought back on her experiences as a sister wife in the Sister Wives one-on-one episode that aired on June 8. It seems that she was aware of the problems in their marriage because their sex was lifeless. That change, of course, occurred after Robyn entered the picture. It was a blast and absolutely enjoyable for a long time. "We simply had a great time, you know," Christine said. She went on. "I thought, oh, there is certainly something lacking here," when he married Robyn. However, everything was already so nearly finished at that moment. Christine claims that at the start of their marriage, Kody physically cared for her. She claimed that as their relationship developed, their sex became less intimate and more like a marital obligation. There was no sex. It was just so broken, God, Christine said. According to Christine, both parties felt the broken and impersonal sex. But they were never inclined to confront it. That is, until Christine made the decision to speak with Kody about their lack of intimacy one day. The conversation proceeded as well as one could anticipate. We had a discussion about intimacy and whether or not we would have sex or any other form of intimacy in our marriage. And he said, no, Christine disclosed. Therefore, I say, you're done, the next time you visit. You will no longer be staying here. You're not welcome in my bed. We're finished. Christine has moved on from her tumultuous relationship with Kody. In October 2023, she married David Woolley after meeting him. We suspect that they had sex more than 5 times a year, even if Christine didn't confirm it. Janelle Brown is taking full advantage of the tell-all and is, in fact, being completely honest as she should be. The diva is not holding back this time and is shooting Kody in the face. She even referred to her former spouse as a narcissist. Janelle also revealed his pattern of love bombing and his deliberate harm to each of his marriages. Even Sukanya was taken aback by what was happening, and she undoubtedly added spice to the tell-all with her revelations.